What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey.
We're getting another Marriage Monday live. We are excited to be here with our friends from the East Coast, Dennis and Angela Bullock. We are Kendra and Kendra Tillman over here on the West Coast. And we are continuing our series where we are bringing on small group leaders that are, kind of helping us to facilitate conversations in the community and, just helping to take care of the marriage community that we know God cares about. And tonight we have some very special individuals. And it is the Richardsons, Frank and Renisha Richardson. And they are leading one of our small groups. It's for newly married couples, 5 years and under.
5 years of marriage.
So, they ministering to the babies. Right? We got Similac behind
baby marriages.
Not the Similac.
One of the ones that might be still, drinking a little milk instead of chewing on the meat. But how y'all doing, Bullocks?
Oh, we're doing good. We celebrated our 23rd anniversary.
Yeah.
Yes. So we was hanging out, and then we came home to some beautiful flowers that our good friends sent to us, the Tillmans,
with some chocolates and chocolate.
Like a dot of chocolate.
Y'all chocolates.
Yes. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. So 26 years together and 23 years married, and I still love this woman.
I still love you
with
too.
With all my heart. And I like her too. I like her.
We keep telling folks we still like each other. We feel like that's the biggest accomplishment of everything.
Yes. Yeah. Like everybody say that's the flex. That's y'all flex.
Yeah. We still like each other. But I got up early, Kendra, and we went to breakfast. I know.
She got up early.
It only took 23 years of marriage.
Yeah.
That was a miracle. Angie don't get up early.
No.
I do sometimes, y'all.
Sometimes.
That's how I know she loved me, because she done got up early for me many times.
Yeah, that's love. I get up early. But we got up early. We have like this favorite place we like to go to by the beach to eat. So we went there, and then we went to church, and then we hung out a little bit more. And then he cooked me. He fried so much fried shrimp for me yesterday.
Yeah, so we went to the fish market.
We went to a fish market.
Fresh stuff. And man, I cleaned those shrimp. I'm like, man, what did I do? Why did...
He was like, it's a big difference between fresh and frozen. Big difference.
Yeah.
And then we hung out, and we ate some chocolate and hung out, and then we toasted the night and toasted to our 23 years and 26 together, and then
went to bed.
Y'all talk for hours. Did y'all talk?
No, we went to sleep.
Hey, with this perimenopause stuff, my mom was like, you need to get on magnesium, and that magnesium, when it's time to go to sleep, it's time to go to sleep. Magnesium don't care. It don't care. It'd be like, who's your daddy? It's time to go to sleep. Yeah.
When I saw that picture of y'all from back when y'all got married, I was like, look at Chris.
That's Chris's whole face.
I'm like, wow.
Chris's whole face.
That's Chris and Angie.
That is, out of all of our pictures, that is my absolute favorite one. And anytime the kids see it, they be like, dang, y'all used to be so skinny. And we be like, shut up. Pretty much how that goes.
Yeah. I was like, hey, I'm glad to be in my 50s. I'm glad to be still happy to thriving,
be here.
And we're not just crossing the finish line, and we're going strong still going strong.
So we be telling our kids, we like, you tiny now, but just wait. So yes, but we are happy.
Like, as my parents would say, just keep living, baby.
Yep.
Exactly. But we had a really good day yesterday, so thank you for everything.
Oh, we're so happy for you guys. And As I was thinking about tonight, our topic, I was thinking back to your wedding vows, right? Because we're going to be talking about those hidden vows. Do you remember any of your wedding vows?
Well, we just kind of we had the minister, so we didn't give like our own separate vows, but
we did the traditional.
We did the traditional ones, but I always remember again the Ephesians 5 because we, as pastors, when we marry people, we have this kind of that same type of script we use, and we preach from Ephesians chapter 5 about how husbands are to love their wives as as Jesus loved the church, but also how the wives are supposed to respect their husbands. So those are some of the things I think when we think about those vows, loving my wife despite some of the issues that we may have, loving her, through all the communication, loving, even, let her, kind of deal with me in those periods. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Look at
look at that.
Look at the babies. Look at the babies.
Angie, now that I'm looking at this, that's Lauren right there all over you.
Yeah, I can see it. Sometimes people say we look alike and we'll look at each other and be like, nah, I don't see it, but I see it right there.
Yeah, there was times when Lauren had her hair pulled back just like Angie's, and I'm like, wow, my goodness. So
yeah. Y'all put the mark on your baby.
You do look like Chris right there, babe.
A lot.
Yeah.
That smile, that's that when he do that little.
Yeah, that do look like Chris. Yeah.
And now he's starting to grow hair on his face just like me. So got a little.
Yeah.
But yeah, those vows are something that definitely we constantly go back on. It really hits us, especially when we're marrying people and we're talking about it in our counseling sessions. Those vows come back up. And
we have a handout we give people so like they know, like there's one handout on what is covenant marriage and kind of like what are you getting into, and then there's another one like right before we're done, we give people that goes over the traditional vows and what each vow means. So it's a lot more you're doing at an actual marriage ceremony than just sitting there and saying some things. You are making some serious vows one to another. So
we're gonna bring in our guests because they made their vows not very long ago. It wasn't 23 years ago.
If you exclude the decimal, then it was. It's been about 2.3 years.
2.3, huh?
Hey, we'll take it. Ain't nothing wrong with some 2.3s. We'll take it.
Hey, we all got to start at 2.3. Come on, Jesus. 1 year at a time. So,
all right,
Richardson. So, do you remember your vows?
Well, I wrote it. It's in my notes. It stays in my notes. I don't remember. I don't remember it in its entirety, but I do have maybe like 1, 2, maybe 3 things I said in it to remember. Now the other stuff, I know I gotta go back in there. Like, did I really say that line?
That's funny. The stuff you said, I remember. But I honestly, I don't remember the details. So we did the traditional vows, and then we wrote, and said beautiful words to each other. But yeah, no, I don't remember the detail of that. As y'all were talking about it, I was just like, I want to go back and watch this.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Watch your wedding video, right?
Yeah, and honestly, because we shared for people who weren't able to come because we got married in Jamaica, we can go back and watch on Facebook, like just watch our experience.
Yeah, I watched y'all wedding on Facebook.
Yeah, that lets me know how young you guys are. If we want to watch our vows, we got to go find a VCR.
We got a VHS.
I was just about to say I got to find a way to take it from a VHS and be able to watch it because I don't even know where a VHS is to watch ours. Yeah.
If you're watching us right now and your wedding video is like, put in the comments, what is your wedding video? Is it on VHS tape? Is it on a CD? Is it on Facebook? Is it digital?
Is it streamed somewhere?
Is it streamed somewhere?
We'll be able, we'll know when how young or old you are by just letting us know.
Yes.
Right.
The Riley's on with us. We got the Rays. We got the Daniels on with us.
Oh.
So Demetrius said DVD.
Tawana's digital youngin. All right.
Facebook. Nicole said Facebook.
Okay, there we go. All right. VHS, yes.
All right. Woo woo! Shout out to the VHS.
Yeah, you got it coming in.
All right. Daniel said they need them a VCR.
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 Upstairs.
What do you mean I gotta rewind it? I don't understand. What is that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What did you say, Frank? I missed it.
He said
the youngest be like, VCR. What do you mean I gotta rewind it?
Right. That's right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rice.
Okay, so the rice.
So it let us know how young your marriage is.
That's right. Not how young you are, but yes.
Yes, because we're seasoned.
Yes, yeah. Y'all seasoned saints.
We are.
Yes.
Listen, I mean, I'm part of Salt and Pepper Ministry already.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
But our origin story is Facebook has a big part of our origin story. So I didn't even think about it until we're talking about now. It makes all the sense in the world that our wedding would be on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
So tell us more.
Yeah, tell us more.
What'd you say?
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, tell us more.
Well, Renisha and I met on Facebook.
Dating.
On Facebook dating app.
Yeah. I know.
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
It's just a full circle.
I'm glad
I swiped right and God said yep, and I said yes.
Yeah. I didn't know they had that.
So were you guys in the same, were y'all both in Phoenix at the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he was in Glendale. I was in Tempe. We met in the pandemic in the year of our Lord and Savior, 2020. So it was like meeting in August, maybe early September. Now remember, we were all deep in quarantine mode. Like everybody's masked up. They're like, do not even, be in the same vicinity of somebody unless you could really trust it. And so us meeting online, really, it wouldn't have happened otherwise. Honestly, I never was going to be out there. He never was going to be, on the east side where I was.
But God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
So
okay, go ahead. I'm about to say I got so many questions.
My thing. these the old folks want
yes.
to understand.
Yes.
How this situation unfolds. So how do you find a Frank or Renisha in the pandemic on Facebook dating app? Like, what are you doing? And it's like, okay, hey, let's talk.
Ugh.
Well, like anything, you have to match. I have to say yes. She will have to say yes. And they're like, hey, it's a match. And now because I'm the guy, you have to say, hey, how you doing? But you don't want to try to make yourself sound like the commoner folk. Hey, how you doing? My name is Frank, and I see that you like me. And, you can't just walk in there like.
It's awkward though. Like at least for me, I found it extremely awkward. But at the time, I was reading this book called The Big Leap, and
by Gay Hendricks. I've read that book.
And I had a mentor and a mentee, so we were just kind of like. We were the safe people to be around. And so we would get together, and between the conversations with them, especially my mentor, and then just knowing that like, all right, if you feel like you are being kind of called to date, because the other thing is he and I had gotten out of relationships earlier in that year that we thought would be who we are to each other now. And so just being open.
Take a pause on that.
Okay.
Here's the thing about breakups. Her breakup with the person previous was about a week 2 before I broke up.
Oh.
Maybe even earlier.
Maybe even earlier, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But we kind of never know, and we broke up around the same time with the people who were previously.
Yeah. So we were past without knowing each other. we were a path in the direction to be able to meet. But I mentioned like my mentor, my mentee, and the book I was reading, because with being like, I'm in my late 30s when I meet him, and he's 4 years younger than me. It's a very different environment when it comes to if you're thinking about dating. And dating wasn't something that I did intentionally. I was just kind of path to be focused on God, family, career. And so that book was getting me together. And then my mentor, I expect her to check me. But my mentee also was just like, okay, well, if you feel like this is what, then you need to be open to environments where you can actually do the thing that you feel like you desire to do, or, you know, God is giving you a nudge towards. So I really kind of resented that I was even on a dating platform. And then because of not appreciating the method being untraditional, I would be really like, okay, I'm not going to pay for it then, you know. And so Facebook dating is free, but because it's a free platform, it doesn't really give you a lot. Like it is the most basic situation. So when I say like you can see the person, whatever images, but like I had to go to, I feel like extreme lengths just to make it clear who I was, because it didn't outline it that way. It might have had like 5 different colored tiles, and you get to answer prompts. So it's, if it asks what's your favorite books, I was like the Bible. Like, you know, like everything was trying to be.
Oh, her profile was like, if you ain't loving Jesus, don't talk to me. You feel me? If the last name ain't Revelation, don't talk to me.
I had just graduated Bible college. Like I'm like, my yes is so strong and so loud. You know, I'm like, I don't want it if it's not God. And so having a nudge to do something that uncomfortable was wild. But for anybody that's read The Big Leap, in the process of us dating, I realized that this connection was a part of my upper limit issue. You know, so the very things that I desire, like,
okay,
also,
Renisha, before you go into that, what does that mean? The upper limit problem. What does that mean?
For a lack of better, being able to say it the way that they do it so eloquently in the book, what I'll say is, if you have a desire for something, like what you desire, there can be things, almost like a way that you kind of self-sabotage in how you function and how you think, that can keep you from achieving it. So it's almost like I'm putting a ceiling on my own potential in an area. And it can be so counterproductive. So you can be a person that's really driven and focused on a goal, but yet you'll have this upper limit issue that you're not going to be able to achieve the goal because of.
That's good.
That's good.
That's good.
That's really good.
So how did that relate for you in dating?
More so when you exit a relationship that you thought would be the thing, and before exiting that relationship, I didn't date. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, you want to make me a eunuch? Like, this is so wonderful, me and you, Jesus. Like, life was wonderful. And so when it's like, okay, no, I don't mean for you to be alone. You're a wife. You're just not his wife. I kind of started trying to shut down and do this whole solo independent thing. And that is counterproductive if you are also trying to prepare yourself for marriage. If you feel like you're called to marriage, then you, even before the person, I believe anyway, is presented, you just have to be creating the space in your mind, in your heart, you know, for that person to be in. But I definitely had some fears around the failure of efforts that I put in previously that were impacting my willingness to really show up fully.
Yeah.
That's real.
That's real really life good. Right there. That's good. I love your openness and your vulnerability to say something like that, because that's real life for a lot of people. And it could be in marriage, it could be at work, it could be just different areas where I've done this before and it didn't work out, and now I'm like, for me, it's like I'm getting on the ice, but I'm tiptoeing, where before I just would have been like, I'm doing it. Yeah, like, that's real life. I love that you're sharing that.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that you guys are leading this group of 5 years and under, and you're right in the midst of that. And Frank, so while Renisha was reading The Big Leap and discovering how to get past her upper limit, what were you doing? What was your journey like to your bride?
my journey was rediscovering who I am. Because when I moved out here, literally, I was engaged with another person by that time. But a week or two after I moved out here, we broke up.
Wow.
And I can't go back home because COVID just hit, and I can't go back home to New York. So I look back at it now, I said, thank you, Jesus, for separating me from home. Because it was I had a great lean at home. So it was just so much easier to just lean back and just almost lean back into my old ways. So moving out here and realizing I literally will have to start over with literally everything, rediscovering who I am, rediscovering what I want in life, rediscovering what do I want, how do I want it, do I still want the same things, do I want something different? Okay, Lord, I got no friends, but I'm gonna learn how to be with just you, because that's literally all I got, because we can't really talk to nobody in COVID time. So just me, Jesus, and the TV. We're gonna make it work. Just rewatching services and finding joy again. Me say it like that, and finding joy again, because I think that was so important for me. I remember after my breakup, my mom sent me my bear, and I'm really about to make this too personal, but my mom sent my bear. I had this bear since I was really little. My grandfather gave it to me when I was a baby. My mom sent it over to me, and she said, "I can't hug you, but the bear can."
Oh.
So I got emotional for that because I needed that break. I needed that melt because that melt was a good melt, so I can regain joy. And that was the leap I needed to move forward. And without that leap and just allowing myself to be exposed to people, like in a way we just like, hey, Frank, you're a good guy. And just allowing people to just pour into you back. Before I was kind of shutting people off a little bit. And then like she knows, like I call her my extended mama at work during that time. Mama Lisa. And I never forget this. So I remember like mid-June, she was like, "You need a girlfriend, first of all."
Let's make it plain. Make it plain.
Yeah, she was like, "You need a girlfriend. It's time." What that girl did, it doesn't matter. It was in the past. It's time for you to move forward, because moving forward is the best place for you. She took my phone and signed me up on Facebook dating.
Wow.
Come on now.
Wow.
And I was just like, "Hey, what did you do?" So she goes, "It's time. If you don't make it, sometimes a little push is all you need." And so I remember I'm just, okay, fine. I entertain it. I go through with it. And you meet some weirdos, even for the guys. You're going to meet the weird ladies too. hey, no. I said I want a Christian girl. Girl, you ain't it. When I swiped on Renisha and it matched, I'm reading her profile. I said, oh Lord, she cute and she a Christian? Hold on, Lord. Hold on. And she got a body. Come on, Jesus. You know what I want.
Come on.
Keep it real. Make it plain.
That's right.
But here's the thing I did say to God when Renisha and I started messaging. If she is give me someone who I need, not who I want. Right? And so God gave me who I need and also who I wanted.
Okay, I'm about to say now. Come on, Frank. Don't be out here saying nothing crazy now. She both
it's funny. I used to always say, "Give me what I want, but never what I needed," and I used to grow up saying a lot of that. And so to almost tell God, give me who I need, because who I need is way more important than what I want. He gave me double and gave me both. And so now I can look back like, man, I'm like just looking back of just how everything that got transpired before I met her, and then we got together. It just, man.
Yeah, he hooked us up.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. I was the interesting thing that I was thinking about. I know when we started kind of doing our podcast, we was during the COVID season. It was a lot of marriages that were breaking up, and I never just the thought that I hearing you guys kind of coming together during that time, because we was hearing a lot of people separating and people having a difficult time within their marriage. But I never thought about people who were coming together during that particular time and making bonds during that particular season. So never thought about that.
We thrived because of that season. I would have, oh my gosh, if it weren't for the world literally being shut down and me having to build a relationship through communication with someone, I would have been so in my head. Like, there was a lot of intention and process and on paper kind of aligning things and how I lived. I was trying to be intentionally successful in every category of my life. So sometimes when you're wired like that, you can path out what that looks like. And on paper for you is not always what God has aligned for you. And so me being able to have to go with the pace of where things are going, and just truly just getting to know him, beyond what is on paper, it blessed me with the best relationship, that I could pray for, and also the safest place for me when it comes to just there's things that I didn't know, there's stuff about him that you aren't going to be able to read on a resume that I absolutely my life required when the got to going. And that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, if I hadn't had those early periods of everything being shut down, I probably would have talked myself out of this relationship and missed out.
Awesome.
Yeah. You guys, I feel like I'm sure we had met you before the small group. So Daniel and I, we don't lead a group right now, but what we do is we visit all of the marriage groups because we oversee all of the marriage groups at our church, Faith Christian Center. And the group that we went to, whatever semester that was, when the two of you, by the time you were engaged, is I feel like that's where we really, if we hadn't met you before, that's where we really got to meet you at. So why did you decide to join a marriage group before you got married?
Absolutely.
One reason was because there are more seasoned people out there than us engaged folk. And we had a thought, and maybe just me, we had a thought before we get married, we want to know what we're walking into, and also what are things we should apply, and where can we grow from this point where we are now. I think that journey on its own is unique on its own, because to just learn from just every level of marriage, whatever how many years you are, it's such a blessing to just hear everyone's experience, because everyone's is different. And it's every lesson is just different and gives different ideas.
Yeah, I think we knew we needed community. That's the other part too. We both are very loving people, and we have a lot of love in our life, but our loved ones are in other places. So knowing that we didn't desire to do life alone, and we wanted to make sure that we were building the kind of relationships that help to not only set us up for success, but because we made this place our home, we knew that all right, well, let's see if we can connect with and rock with some folks who are trying to do life similarly how we're trying to do life. And I live by, like, you can learn from mistakes or mentors, and I don't have to be the one that's making mistakes. Like, so to the point he's making, when it opened up, and we're grateful for whoever helped with that decision, because a marriage group, even by title, sounds like, well, you got to already be in the club, to be able to get admitted in there. So when they were like, ooh, engaged, we're like, oh, yes, let's sign up. We were hyped when we got a chance to get some early experience with the folks who know about it before we actually crossed over into married life.
Okay, so now that brings us, did you want to say something before?
I was just going to say, that's something that we're trying to continue to cultivate as well, right? When folks who are coming up, who may be young or younger and just getting into marriage, connecting with those folks, reaching back and connecting with those folks, because I think we have an opportunity to really, stir up the younger generation and make sure they know and understand, this is how God has designed this thing, and this is how you want to do it, right? So put them in the midst of, the marriage community. So you guys are very much helping with that, in that, you are younger than we are, and you came up in you're coming up in the Facebook age, whereas we came up in the ECR age. So, so we commend you for saying yes and for using your gifts and talents to, touch generation. That's why I was really excited when you said we want to do 5 years, up to 5 years, because that automatically starts to really touch a different demographic than we normally are reaching out to.
Yeah. And the first 5 years of marriage, those are those foundational years, right? And Bullocks, did you guys want to say anything about that, those first 5 years of marriage?
They just usually the rough ones, it's like, well, my mama used Palmolive and my mama used Dawn, and well, Dawn is better. No, Palmolive is. It's like those are the foundational years of taking 2 to 1, and it's not always an easy process. So yeah, that's Angela's way of saying it. What it looks like.
And I think again, we were Christians then too, and so. We didn't live with each other, and so when we came into coming in, living with each other, it was different. I mean, because I can be very strong-willed. I can have I want to win my arguments, all this little talk all the time. And then when she comes in and she disagrees with me, it was just kind of like threw me off. Like, no, you don't disagree with me. What are you doing? But she always have a knack. She always had a knack of winning the argument because I wasn't able to really. I couldn't really express myself, and then I'm like, okay, you got me on that one. Okay, but the next time I want to get you.
Yeah.
But I think it was just getting to learn each other. I mean, I wouldn't sleeping in the same bed with each other. That was different. It's like she took all the covers away from me. You did. Yes, you did. No, we're on live. We're on live. Tell them you took all the covers from me. You did.
We used to fight over the thermostat, Dennis. Did y'all fight over the thermostat?
We still fighting over that now.
We still fight over thermostat. It's just a different fight.
I remember when we first got married, because y'all already know I'm not the best morning person. I've come a long way, right? But when we first got married, I will never forget it. He sat on the side of the bed, and I was all groggy, and he was like, "Do you remember me? I'm your husband. I'm your husband, Angela." Because when I wake up, I'm very out of it, and I was like, he turned on all the lights, and he's like humming and the opening windows. I was like, man, if you don't stop. So yeah, it was an adjustment.
Yeah, I was looking at her. I was like, "What? Do you know who I am? Why are you looking like that in the morning?" I'm like, "What's going on with you?"
Hey, Pastor Moore, before we left for Florida, he came to me and said, "You know what?" I said, "What?" He said, "You have gotten so much better as a morning person." I was like, "Right? Thank you, sir. I've gotten better, y'all. I've gotten a lot better."
So that actually brings me to like more into tonight's topic. So, we were thinking about what we wanted to talk about, because we're doing this ongoing series this month where we're talking about having a marriage mindset. Okay. And so tonight we specifically wanted to talk about the vows, those internal agreements that we've made with ourselves that maybe we haven't even communicated with our spouse, that we bring into the marriage relationship. And so these are things that can actually help us or things that can harm us, right? So maybe one of the vows that you make is that you're going to be faithful to your spouse, and that you are not going to go behind their back and be deceitful and all those things. So that would be a positive or a good vow to make, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But then maybe there's vows where you learned, I can't really communicate or express myself, so I'm not going to be as vulnerable as I could be because my spouse might use this against me. So every single one of us, whether we know it or not, consciously or unconsciously, we come into marriage, we come into relationships with vows. And so tonight we want to, for the rest of our time together, we want to talk about what are some of those vows. And so, Frank and Renisha, we wanted y'all to kick us off. When you look back now, so because you guys are still in those early years of marriage, so it hopefully it's pretty fresh in your mind, right? When you think back now to your wedding day, before you were married, when you're sitting in the marriage groups and you're listening to married couples talk about marriage, what unspoken vows or internal agreements do you think you brought into marriage without even realizing it? Ooh, y'all got quiet on us.
We were over here rapidly considering who want to go first. That's what was happening.
So,
for us, or for myself, I can speak for myself. Unexpected one was I won't. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. Like, I won't be like disrespected in any kind of way by anybody, kind of vibe.
Yes, that's a good example. Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes what happens for me, and sometimes even now that happens, or most times, and I'm working through that even as we speak, that I shut down.
Mm.
And so those shutdowns are like dangerous. And those shutdowns will cause like walls, and those walls cause distance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it hurts her as I'm shutting down because it pushes her away, and also it makes her feel like there's no communication, and like distance is away, there's no vulnerability there.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, what is it, like Proverbs 28:13, when it said when a man confesses. And so it's just like, oh my gosh. And I was just rereading that, and it was just like, man, I have been, thank you, Lord, for your mercy, because I'm going to confess it, but there's still a struggle every now and again, because it's definitely a little bit of a trauma, I can say that, because trauma will make it go up too, and I realize when something reminds me, or even a speck of it that's still there, it's going to go. And when I know it's happening, it goes up.
Mm-hmm.
And so it pushes, and I don't want to keep pushing because I know I need to be closer. And knowing that I need to fight through that and just continually try to punch through those walls is my goal. It's always going to be my end goal.
That's good.
Yeah, for me, and then you'll understand like the things that we navigate. So my biggest vow and kind of like expectation was that our marriage would be the safest place for me in the world. So I'm full vulnerability, full honesty, and oftentimes when that's not reciprocated, like I was after the naked and unashamed, like what God's intention was, you know, in the garden, okay, let's be naked and unashamed, and let's be each other's safest place. And, you know, you hear like your spouse is your best friend, or you make them like your best friend. And, you know, all right, he's guarding me, I'm guarding him. So what that has created a challenge with is, well, one, like our group is called Becoming, because you don't just, oh, we got married now, all right, you've done your counseling and stuff, and you're safe. Like, I didn't even know him, and he didn't even know me. Like, so we have all of this that we lived before, and now we're doing this together. And yes, we want to be safe spaces for each other, but as he was just saying, he's had to protect that safe space. You know, so me essentially sometimes really kind of like demanding access to something without leaving the room to pace towards getting there. Yeah, good intention, but it's unrealistic. You know, really honestly, I think it's unrealistic to think like if we're talking about y'all in y'all Jordan year and we are in the Jordan year with a decibel in the middle, and all of a sudden we supposed to be the safest place for each other in the world. Like, it sounds crazy saying it out loud, but that I feel like is what comes up whenever we are encountering anything we have to overcome. A lot of times it's just like, well, why? Or just tell me, or whatever. Well, that's connected to the vow, you know, that's in the back of my mind and in my heart.
Yeah. I so appreciate what you just said, Renisha, because we visited another marriage group this past Friday. And Daniel was giving an example of like a frustration that we've experienced in marriage around parenting our kids with each other, frustration with each other. And one of the wives was commenting and she was basically like, well, I feel like if I had said that to my husband, he wouldn't have received it the same way. And one of the things I said was, yes, because you got to remember, we've been parents for 24 years and 9 months, right? Right. And they haven't even been parents for 10 years, right? Their kids aren't even 10 years old yet, right? So that's going to look different. And so what I appreciate about what you just said is that the benefit of us coming together in community is that we all have different stories. We're in different places in our race with God, in the race of faith that we're running, and we can learn from each other. And it doesn't have to look the same. In fact, it is not going to look the same.
Right.
Yeah. So I just really appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, when you're in the community and you know, okay, I'm raising these kids, they're like, you know, under 10. I like what you've done with your kids, and your kids are grown now. How did you do it? What did you go through? And then you'll find out, you know, we fumbled through it just like you're fumbling through it right now. We did a lot of praying. We did a lot of,
still doing a lot. A lot of praying.
Right? Prostrating yourself before the Lord, and crying at night, and you know,
a lot of crying,
sucking it up. In the
See, that's real though, and it's appreciated because when you get, and that's the other part. Once you stop just sitting next to people on the pews on Sunday, and you start hanging out with them on Thursday,
come on, say it.
Hold on now. It's a little raggedy everywhere, ain't it? Yes. And let me gas you up real fast, Kendra, because you may remember this, but we had a random, which, you know, ain't nothing random in the kingdom, but I'm coming out of there, and I can't even remember what prompted it. But basically, I done accidentally called somebody, but basically, you said to me, like, but you guys are around a lot of experienced couples, like really seasoned and experienced couples. And so you said something to the effect of like, not only is that pressure, but it's going to be unrealistic. The stuff that is not right, the stuff that's raggedy, the stuff that y'all are working through, it's supposed to be like that. You know what? Sometimes, no, you're just not going to like him. Like, so here I am, you know, all about the quest for success, right? So here I am, like, okay, well, this doesn't line up to this, and I know the scripture said this, all these different things, which I thought he and I would be similar in because we're both firstborn. So I had some theory on like, you know, birth order. Mm-hmm. But it's not it ain't foolproof, okay, obviously. Because here I am like, all right, well, okay, well, if we know this and we have this, then we'll just do what we know. It'll be great, they say. Yeah. And then you wake up and it's like,
but it ain't.
God, this joker, this one, the one that you told me, it's just like,
that's me waving this joker. Hi.
And I'm like, but everything that's being communicated is being communicated from a place of, it might be truth, but it's just not the maturity that you are positioned to come up to yet. And that is okay. Or sometimes you are, but at any rate, you should not be expecting. Like you were talking about the Similac behind our ears earlier, Daniel. Like, I would not give that baby with Similac the keys to drive our vehicle. You know, that's essentially the kind of pressure sometimes that it's good to glean, but what can happen is if you got a chick wire like me, I'm going to start not even from a place of trying to put pressure on my husband, but just like, all right, we've got all of this around us and these are examples, but you have to almost be like overactive in reminding yourself that's them. You don't know what they got through to get to that. He or she may not have always been there. Like have the grace for yourself, have the grace for your spouse. Because there is a journey to becoming.
Yeah. Let me say this real quick because I had the thought when you started saying it. Expectations, expectations that you go in with. And I was thinking about some of our a vow that I made hidden before I even got married to her while I was single. Even I was saying this back in college. And I think sometimes when you come in with the expectations, you're thinking what you see on the outside this is how it's supposed to look for us, because this is what I see. This is what is being modeled. And so one of the things I used to say on the inside of, me, I was like, one time, I'm only getting married one time. And I was subtly, because I had this pessimistic view. I don't know if I was subtly trying to protect myself or something like that. But that one time was connected to, faithfulness. And so I would say to my wife, hey, if you do something, it's over. It's over. It's over. And I'm like, we didn't even get to a place where something like that could be over. But I'm saying that, like almost trying to tell her, if you do something, it's over. It's over. She didn't do nothing at all to even position herself in a over position, but I'm trying to protect myself. And I never forgot, I was watching a Marriage Today with Jimmy Evans, and I was watching a lot of these videos where people had the husband that cheated on his wife and all this other type of stuff. And they had stayed together and they was more happily married than they was before they, the infidelity had happened. And I was sitting there just confused because in my head, in this vow, it's over. It's over. These expectations that I had created, it's over. But as I started listening, I was like, man, it takes two. It takes two. And I never forget one of the first podcasts with guests we had. I remember the people out of Atlanta, he was talking about.
Martins.
Yeah. He said, I had to take ownership of why my ex did what they did. And I was still confused. I'm like, huh? But she cheated. It wasn't your fault. It's over. It's over. But when he said that, I had to realize that, man, I got something on the inside that I need to fix, because I created a vow. I have this expectation of how things supposed to be, but I'm not really seeing the full picture. And I need to remove all that other stuff.
And in my head, I was like, I ain't trying to do no dirt. So why you coming at me like that? And then
I'm letting you know. I am letting you know.
But the thing that it communicated to me is, if I made mistakes, there's no grace. Right. And so like, I'm happy that and I would say we both have had to work on that. Because that's what I was going to say too. And of course he's made the adjustments, and we're definitely have grown in just if you feel like you've made a mistake, I'm still here. I'm not going nowhere. But that's what I was going to say earlier is like the process of going through the maturity part, or the process of we're not here and we still got a little bit of milk. Like, I think we forget sometimes the importance of, the way I like to say it to people is like, think about how you get to know God in a whole new way. You've never known Jesus in this season before. So that means there's a certain, like, parts of his character, parts of his personality, parts of how he shows up that you haven't experienced yet. And you might totally miss out on this moment to grow in him, to get to know him, to get to know his word in a completely different way, because you ain't never needed him in a season like this before. So that, to me, it's like, I think sometimes we're so in a rush to get someplace that we forget like the beautifulness. I don't know if that's a word, but the beautifulness of, yeah, it's uncomfortable. I'll say it like this. I'm in a season right now where God's like, you're not angry anymore. You're not flipping tables. You're not whatever. You have forgiven. You've done da 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 da. But you never took time to grieve what you lost. And I want you to grieve what you lost. And I also want you to process your disappointment, because you've never taken the time to do that. Well, guess what, y'all? That's uncomfortable. Angela is in a season of uncomfortability, if that's a word too. But what I'm realizing is like, wow, I'm having these moments with God where he's showing me stuff, where he's showing me. And even though it's a little bit uncomfortable, I know at the end, because he already told me, when you're done with this, think how you're going to be able to use this in counseling. Think how many people you're going to get to talk to. Think how you're going to be able to blah, 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 blah. So I'm already uncomfortable, but I'm trying to resist the discomfort, but I'm leaning into it because I'm like excited to see who I'm going to be at the end of the season. And I think we miss that in marriage sometimes. It's like, God gave me this handsome, beautiful man. Mm-hmm. He like, yes, all of this. But like, we have grown so much and matured so much, and we have been uncomfortable together. And I think we miss the gift that God has given us, a partner to be uncomfortable with, like to help us through those uncomfortable, hard seasons. He's given me somebody. I don't have to be alone. You know, if that makes sense. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So relatable.
I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, amen.
Well, with us being the youngins on the call today, I would say that that's the beauty of marriage. So what you find is, it's not just that, okay, there's somebody I can split bills with and sleep beside, and I don't have to be alone. But the thing that I was seeking, I'm actually getting it. It just might not look like what I thought it would look like. We're not kicking through tulips, every day.
Yeah.
But the fact is, when it's time to get gritty, I have my man and I have my God. And they are locked in, and I'm able to have all of this stuff on me, and they help to wash it off. Because what you described, like, not only did so I had significant loss. We both lost and had things to grieve before we met each other, with us sharing how we got together. And then we get together, and I have like devastating losses. Like, over the course of 2 years, it was like 10 people, one of them spiritual father, grandfather, just like devastating kind of things. But even though that happened, it's also just like the grace of God in giving us this union, and for us to get to walk through all of this stuff and learn him, learn ourselves. Like, it could have been me solo out here in the trenches.
Yeah.
And so even when the stuff isn't cute, it's still beautiful, because I'm on this journey with someone, and we're building. And then through these experiences, whether they're raggedy or not, we now have these as we move forward. And to be able to say, like, I'm talking not just lost there, like, I almost lost my life that year. We had like employment losses. We had a lot of different things. So when I think about, like, when you're talking about being fortified, you know, or on like what you're made of. It's nice to be like, listen, it might be rubble all around us, but me and him are hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, even how I said it was my prayer, but Lord, give me someone who I needed, not who I wanted. Because who I needed is someone who can hold me down, and vice versa, but also keep me accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So the need is more than just going, Lord, just give me somebody who look good. That's a plus, you know. Mm-hmm. But who can give me who can help me see me in the way I didn't see me, but also see the rut that's also in me. It's far more important because that's what I needed. Mm-hmm. And I know vice versa, that's what she needs too. And sure, I want the great things, but I need every good thing that she brings out of me. Mm-hmm. Health birth out of me too. Mm-hmm. That she helps with. So without those needs, I would never see the wants in any capacity. So I love her for that. You know, I tell her that like all the time, like, thank you for being someone who I needed first before I'm my one. And because of that, I would have never, the mature Frank you see now, you probably wouldn't be seen if you wouldn't be able to see this person because God sent someone who I needed first. Someone to be like, hey, you the first conversation is going to, hey, you need to, need to be more intentional. I don't know why you did this. I don't know why you.
No, I think my language was more like, especially because I was still deep in corporate. Have you considered something like that we talked about?
And I'm sitting here like, why am I feeling like I'm in the office right now?
So that actually brings me to like one of the last questions I wanted to ask y'all is when you think about, because I think this is right in line with what you're both saying, is which vows, like if you had to name just one vow that you've made that is not necessarily something you said at the altar when you guys got married, but a vow that you have made over the last 2.3 years. Which vows have helped your marriage grow stronger?
For me, I said to myself that I will do my best to make sure she has the best support system ever. Because without any support, no matter what it is, especially from your significant other, it's not the same. Like, so for me, I said I will be the best supporter, like her best cheerleader, her best everything. Like, you need me, baby, I will be there if I can. And if I can't, I will make sure I will somehow still be there. You know, so for me, it was how to be her rock in any situation. And doing my best to make sure I continuously stay that path.
Yeah. And for me, it's actually something that God put in me like early on. Like I didn't necessarily understand it. Like I say that I fell in love with him before I knew that I liked him. And God like put his love for him in me, and just like love, when you look at the definition of love, like according to scripture, it unpacks a whole bunch of really uncomfortable things, you know, a lot of times. But just in truth, loving him, but in truth, loving him.
Oh no, I was to be finished.
Thank you. Loving him fully and like accepting, just like agreeing with God about him, which is something that I have to, keeping a commitment to that vow, no matter what's happening, what's showing up in the moment. Like, okay, what does God say about you? And like sometimes even fighting myself to make sure that I'm agreeing with that. Because in me agreeing with that, it means a lot of it makes a big difference in how it is that I show up, you know, just as his friend, as his wife, his support system, whatever.
You know, that brings me to the thought because Frank made mention of something that in a few of our lives, when the men are revealing how they were when they first got married, it's shutdown mode, right? It's, if you're disrespected or if there's a disagreement, a lot of us, that's how we are when we first get started. We shut down. And so for you to make that vow to say, in the midst of your shutdown, I'm still here. I'm still going to see you the way God sees you, even though I'm not getting out of this thing right now what I want. Right. So, I just wanted to mention that. And I think in a future live, we ought to talk about the shutdown. Because
absolutely
a lot of it's real. It goes all the way back to when 23 years ago when Dennis got married and 28 years ago when I got married. Right? So it's like that's something that we should talk about, discuss, because it's happening a lot.
Yeah. All right. So Bullocks, did you guys want to answer that question? Which vows helped your marriage grow stronger?
I think
so we talk to the 2.3 year marriage. Now let's talk to the 23-year marriage.
I think again, just loving your wife like Jesus loved the church. Again, when you talk about love, it's more than just when it feels good. Like one of the big things that me and her had a challenge with in communication is my tone. And so
we still dealing with it 23 years in. He's a lot better though.
Yeah. I'm a lot better, but I feel like I'm passionate when I'm speaking, but she says it's a lot of tone. But anyway,
and he's like, it's not tone. I'm just passionate. And I'm like, well, I'm the one receiving your passion, and it comes across as tone.
So for me, it's really, I'm big on perspective. And so sometimes it's like, okay, well, listen, it's not as bad as you're thinking. And so I'll say those type of things. And then she say, listen, I'm the one who's receiving your communication. And so what I have to do is love my wife. And sometimes you got to just go off by yourself and figure things out and ask the Lord, well, okay, what is this tone stuff? And God will use so many different things for me. He'll have me watch a master class and they'll talk about tone. And I'm like, oh, that's what she was talking about, but I couldn't see when she was saying it to me. But then when this guy says it, I see it. I see it very clearly. I got tone. And so I got to make the adjustments. And so I think that's where the impact has come, loving my wife. And when I talk about loving my wife, the vow is making the impact about making the adjustments, even though sometimes it took 23 years to do it. But, hey, we still got more years to go. And, hey, probably about, 30 or, 40, I've mastered my tone, what I'm saying?
like he's had to deal with my I won't say extreme, but my grouchiness in the morning, and he's had to deal with I run late a lot.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh. 23 years.
So that speaks to something that is true in marriage, and that is that not all issues that we deal with get resolved. We learn how to manage them, get better about them, accept them to some degree. But there is not an expectation in marriage that every single thing that bothers you, your spouse is going to fix, right? Or is going to change.
You better preach it, Daniel. You better preach it.
Yeah. I would say too, on my side, I think
that was good.
That was very good. Because I was going to say it is an adjustment that you make. It's not that things have changed. It's just you learn how to deal with it a little differently. And you ask yourself, well, why does this bother me so much? And sometimes, the thing that your spouse does that irritates you, or they get on your last one, is really meant for you to see something about yourself. But
yeah, that's good. Because even when talking about disrespect, because us men, we need respect.
I thought you were about to say something about me being late, and I was like, I know.
No. Sometimes you gotta ask yourself, am I being disrespected right now? Am I being disrespected, or she's giving me something for me to really think about? Now you could be actually being disrespected, But are you really? You got to ask yourself, am I really being disrespected at this particular time by her, saying what she needs to say? Maybe it's just, hey, brother, I just need you to see yourself right now.
Or maybe there's truth to what she's saying, but you don't like her tone. She might have tone too, right?
Yeah.
The thing I was going to say, I think in our marriage, when I think back, I think I just made a commitment in myself that I was going to push through tough times because I made a commitment early on that I wanted to have a successful marriage. So I think that's probably it, is like pushing through, making a commitment or a vow to yourself to push through. And I do want to say too that, like, maybe somebody's watching this and they're in a marriage where they're like, we're not on the same page. I don't have a covering, like what Renisha's talking about. I don't know what she's talking about. I haven't experienced that yet. I think there's moments in marriage where that's why it's a 3-chord that's not easily broken. Because God will be your wife. God will be your husband. He will come in and fill the shoes of your spouse at times when it's needed. And I think there's seasons in marriage where God does want us to learn how to lean on him a little deeper, and get our needs met by him while we're giving our spouse the freedom to be in process. Sometimes people in our lives need the freedom to process whatever they're processing, trauma, grief, growing up, maturity. And sometimes we have to give them that space, just because I would want that too. You know what I mean? Like, I want space when I'm going through process, and I want mercy and grace while I'm in process. But sometimes we don't know how to give it to other people because we're like, I need this from you. And so, like, when it's like, I need this, sometimes God's like, hey, like, give the boy, give the man, he ain't a boy, give the man some space. Like, I got you. Like, I know how to fulfill your needs too. So
good. That was good, Angie.
Amen.
That was good.
Amen.
Give them some space to process.
Yeah. I would say I got that from my counselor. And not for marriage. I had a relationship that changed greatly, in a girlfriend relationship. And my counselor was like, I hear a lot of I. And I was like, ouch. And then she was like, but let me ask you the question. Would you be willing to give that person the space while they process between them and God what they're going through? And I was like, I think I can do that. And sometimes I've taken that on in my other relationships and marriage too. Sometimes you got to give people space to process.
Yeah. It's very good.
Yeah. So this conversation is part of what we've been talking about having a marriage mindset. And some of what I'm taking away from what you all have said is that part of the marriage mindset is understanding that it is not always that there's something in your spouse that needs to change or be different, but sometimes there are things that God is working out in you. And your spouse is, the things that they're doing or not doing is an opportunity for you to grow in your maturity, to grow in your walk with Christ, to grow in your relationship with your spouse. And so we hope that you are gaining from listening to these different conversations is that this can look different depending on what season of life that you are actually in. And so I just thank you all for being a part of our conversation tonight. Frank and Renisha, thank you for being a part of our marriage community, and not just being a member, attending a group, but also being willing to do something that is like another step beyond that, and actually now creating a space for other couples to come and for them to grow in their relationship with the Lord, for them to grow in their relationship with each other, for them to grow in community. And so we just really want to thank you for that. I want to share with people, we've been doing this throughout our series. We've been sharing with them. If you are interested in attending a marriage small group, we want to encourage you, even if your church, let's say where you live, you don't live in Phoenix, Arizona, you don't attend Faith Christian Center, the church that we attend, but there are couples around you. If you would be the person who would say, you know what, let's grab our Bibles, let's grab a book where we can learn how to love each other better, and let's grab a few friends and let's have our own marriage small group. We would encourage you to do that. If you actually are in the Phoenix metro area, we would encourage you to join a marriage small group, and you can learn more about the marriage groups and the different ones we offer. If you go to fccphoenix.com and then you go to Get Connected on the church's website, and then you go down to small groups.
You're showing our picture, Kendra. It's not showing the website.
Sorry. We're not trying to show y'all Angie and Dennis no more. I call myself, oh yeah, I'm on the wrong page. Okay, there we go. So let me back up. So on our church's website, fccphoenix.com, under Get Connected, you choose Get Connected, and then you scroll down to where it says small groups, and then join a small group. And then you have the option to choose the different types of groups. So you choose a group, and we're encouraging you to choose a marriage group. Does it mean all the groups are closed? Are all the marriage groups closed now? Because I'm not seeing it showing up. Do you guys see it on your?
No, I just see lead a small group, join a small group.
Okay, there we go. Can y'all see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So when you choose marriage, okay. You don't see a screen with the groups listed?
No, I just see life's better in groups. Lead a small group, join a small group.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Hold on, y'all. I don't know what is happening right now. Hold on. Let me go to the
share screen.
Okay. So hopefully you followed along up until that point, but this screen, do y'all see that now?
Yes.
Okay, so when you choose marriage,
there's our group becoming.
All the groups will pop up, and your group is called.
It's right here on the left.
Becoming, right here on the top. So if you're in the first 5 years of marriage, we highly recommend you to join their group if you are in the Phoenix metro area. So. All right, y'all. So we haven't enjoyed this conversation, and we are over our time. We hope that you all will come back and join us for our conversation next week, where we continue talking about having a marriage mindset. And we just want to thank you again, Frank and Renisha, for being our guests tonight.
Yes.
So we are done, but before we sign off, I told Renisha that I would give her an opportunity to share what she does, because she is an entrepreneur.
Okay, sure, absolutely.
To be able to share that,
and we can we'll share it in the chat too. So go ahead, Renisha.
Okay, so I would love for you all to follow me on social media at Life with Ru, RHU, and I am a full-time employee of Heaven Now. So Faith and Inspiration Apparel through Defining You, which is at definingyoubyhisview.com, so that your closet can minister to you and others as you wear things. And then also just speaking and Urban Gourmet by Ru, which is trying to help redeem some of the health back off of bloodlines. We were able to cut he had diabetes for years, and with changing and now has a positive A1C. And so there's ways where we could and got good. No insulin, just all in a normal range. And the truth of the matter is, you can eat good and still actually make sure that you're living, while you're enjoying, versus letting it rob you of years. And I've lost many family members just because of things related to food that they didn't change. So Urban Gourmet by Ru is meal prep, and I would just love for you guys to just go on the journey. As I do what God tells me to do every step of the way, no matter how uncomfortable it is. And you can follow that at Life with Ru on YouTube.
And you guys can also follow me at Richard_moments_photography.
Yeah.
Follow my page.
Yeah, he's a dynamic photographer, enriching all of life's moments.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna have to do a whole.
He is good.
We're gonna have to do a whole thing about entrepreneurship and marriage, because we know that journey very well, and the Bullocks have learned that journey too, with them being in ministry and us leading ministries together, and that's a whole nother conversation.
Yes, Lord.
It really is. Can I say one thing before we close out?
Go ahead.
This is usually our prayer night, you guys. So we wanted to have this conversation, but still encourage you guys, go pray for your spouse, go pray with your spouse, invite God into your relationship. When you do that, he does great things. So that's my little mini commercial on prayer. Amen.
All right, y'all. Thank you for hanging in there with us. And we appreciate you. We'll be back here next Monday, as we are just about every Monday.
Oh, and they'll be back from Man Camp. That's an annual men's event that our church has. So the men will be all fired up and ready to go. And
yes.
And thank you for your patience with the sound. I actually have a meeting to lead related to Man Camp right after this call. And so a lot of the team was kind of coming in.
We're so okay. Well, we need to wrap this on up then.
No, that'll do it. So
bye, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.
Peace.